Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. So we are stuck at home and I'm running out of things to do, so I decided that I will do a flip through of my personal baby album. It's not my entire baby album, but these are just the pages that I've got finished. This is a KaiserCraft 12 by 12 or 12 by 12 D-ring album. It is beautiful, and I've actually only used KaiserCraft in this album to document my story. So this is a picture of my mom and I'm like a couple of hours old, and what I did is I tore a piece of paper. It's like dictionary with nice words, and I just ruffled on the edges. I did lots of fussy cutting with this collection, and I did some chain stitching along the sides. I don't know if you can see that. Let me just, it's very overexposed at the moment, but I did some chain stitching and some layering, and I used tissue paper behind the photo as well. Also some foam adhesive behind there. This little thing says every family has a story to tell. Okay, so I'm just going to take this out. This is the other side of that photo. So this is just where my mom's changing me. This is my little armband that I had baby Emsley, and then this is us being discharged from the hospital. So it's very similar to the other page. This should actually be a double page. Let me see, because the pages are sort of made to go together. If you can, yeah, fits very nicely in there. So I should actually just reorganize my album and put this as a double page, hey? So, but at the moment it is not a double page. I will link down in below which KaiserCraft collections I've used. I think one of them is called Keepsake. The other one is Rose Garden or something like that. I'm not sure. Please don't go and look for Rose Garden KaiserCraft now. But I will link, I will leave the titles of the kits down below in the description box. So this is a little insert that I've got. It's from Becky Higgins, and I went insert crazy with this album. My layouts aren't all 12 by 12. This is probably like 6 by 5 or something like that. This is just me in all my glory with some fussy cut flowers at the bottom, or this is probably from the sticker sheet, from the KaiserCraft sticker sheet. And this is me again, and then just having a sleep, and just a little word that says cherish, how you pronounce it, and it's like a dictionary thing of cherish. Here is like a pocket page, but it's not a full 12 by 12 pocket page, and you can see I don't have photos in every single one of these little pockets. I did use the original photos. I have now started taking photos of the photos, keeping the originals separate, and then only scrapping with the copies. I started with this album about 2 years ago. So no, I did use the originals. I'm not fussed about it. The originals will in any case just sit in a cupboard somewhere. So now we're actually looking at them. However, they are very dark and yellowed. But this collection works very well with it because the colors all go together. So this is, I think this is my, these are the photos from my christening. And then at the back here, it's changed a little bit. The coloring has changed because there's blue in the photos. And my cake is on a blue plate, so I decided to add some blue, lots of fussy cut flowers, lots of little ephemera pieces. Again, this has no photo in it, but it's got some tissue paper, fussy cut flowers, and a little window in it. And here is a little window that says family. Okay, and then next I've got this this little insert, and it is probably 6 by 12, so it's just me with my sister and my little bouncy, and sitting in my little bouncy chair thing, and also lots of fussy cutting, lots of layering as well. I did end up bringing the blue in with this as well. And on the back of this, it goes a bit more green because this is supposed to go with this page. If you flip it over, it's supposed to go with this page. So I had lots of this green left over, and I used it on this page and the next page. As you can see here, I cut a flower here in 3 parts, and I sort of made it go into all 3 of these pockets, and so you get an idea of sort of overlapping pockets. I did use a wood veneer. This is wood veneer in this as well. Here is the next photo. These are all little original photos, and this is where I actually realized I should take photos of my photos because I actually stitched through the photo onto the paper. So if I ever want to take these photos out, I'm gonna have to cut lots of the photo off to get them out, which, yeah. So there's lots of tissue paper on this layout. It's lots of fussy cutting as well. You can see little bits of ephemera at the bottom here, and then on a nice wood grain paper. And I love the fact that this is all layered. Everything is layered in. I hope this inspires you to do some vintage floral scrapping. I know Simple Stories is coming out, or has come out with something vintagey florally, very very KaiserCrafty. I quite like it a lot, and this is the only time I use KaiserCraft is when I document things for myself. I don't know why. I just, it's just the way I've done it. So this is then the next photo. This is just me. I'm sitting and eating something, so my nose is full of food, or I don't know what I was eating, but it's very out of focus, unfortunately. Yeah, so I've done sort of a grid layout with this, rectangular, square, and rectangular. Done some fussy cutting with flowers, lots of layering with the foam squares behind it, and also stitching. Each one of these squares, except the photos, has some just back stitching on it. Also, I've put some tissue paper behind the photos so that it just differentiates the photo a little bit. I did some embellishing on each of the squares just to give it something special. Now here is another little insert, and this is 6 by 5, I think. A very dark photo of me. It's got a very pink shine to it, so that's why I like the pink. To mute down the very floral background, I put a piece of tissue paper over it, and that helped a lot because I really wanted to use this this background. On the other side, it's just another photo. There's lots of blue in the photo and green, so I decided to add lots of blues and greens. And this is I can't remember this dog, but this dog was called Biscuit, I think. So yeah, that was our doggy. Here is another little insert, and this is me and my mum. And again, I used some tissue paper behind the photo, and I actually have the date of this photo. The date was written on the back, so I actually have this. And then this is just at the back of this. I didn't want to put a photo at the back. I just put something that I could embellish on the back of this little insert. So this is the next layout, and this is probably one of my favorites in this album. I did lots of fussy cutting to put the flowers and sort of edge the flowers around the layout, and I sort of stacked the photos in a little tower formation in the layout. Also adding lots of fussy cut flowers, ephemera on the sides, little tabs on the sides, and adding some word stickers over the sensitive parts of the photo. But I don't know if you can see these dots on the side. I added tissue paper around the edge of the layout over everything. So there's lots of layers in this layout as well, but the glue is coming through the tissue paper. So I have to do something, maybe add a teeny tiny thin little piece of washi or a ribbon or something just to hide that where the glue comes. And I don't know if you can see the little spots where the glue comes through. On the other side, and these pages go together like this, so this is very white pages. These are some doily acetate pieces from what is this, from Freckled Fawn, and I did lots of stitching. Now this these pink pieces, or light pink pieces, is from a page in the collection that I'm using from KaiserCraft, and it's the same size as these, so I fussy cut the circles out. I took these from Freckled Fawn, and I chain stitched around all of these circles. It took a while. I didn't do it at the top two. I think I just got fed up with it. I'll go back and I'll just chain stitch around those. But this is me in the bath with my sister, and I had the idea of these being bubbles. So yes. Now there's another little insert here of me and being very cute with my diaper, crawling and so on with my dummy, and also lots of fussy cut flowers. I like the inserts because I don't have the pressure of doing a 12 by 12 photo for every single, or a 12 by 12 layout for every single photo. I mean, here is 6 photos in this little insert, you know. So on the other side, it's a little bit more green. I like this background, and as you can see, the photos are very, they're starting to yellow and they're old, but it's, you know, it still works with a collection. Lots of fussy cut flowers around. The photos are layered, they are matted on something, so like a little pink with a white polka dot. So here is the accompanying page to this. To this page, and you can see the edges around. I chain stitched around this entire layout with a very nice dark pink. This I'm not sure where this comes from, probably something like I think it was Amy Tan pack that you have these massive titles. I think this comes from that. You had like hello and something like that with it again. So I did a diagonal layout for this, and this is just us being getting ready for spring with the little blossoms, and love our secret garden. This is what I called this layout, our secret garden. So, and this is me and my sister again with all the little flowers tucked in besides, and these are tiny little flowers. I mean, I fussy cut all of these, all the little leaves, and stuck it all in, and you know, there's the word adventure, sister, together, our secret garden, you know. On the other side of this is a page where yellow comes in, and this is not a KaiserCraft collection. This is, I think, a Simple Stories collection. I'm going to have to, I don't think it's Simple Stories. I'm going to have to go and look what this collection is, but I did use some tissue paper, lots of layering. There's a green, and then there's a tissue paper, and then there's this pink with the glitter dots on it. Layered some fussy cut flowers in between. I've got some gemstones. I busted out the gemstones. I know these are like no-name brand little epoxy sticker. This says let's play, and it's just us playing in a little sand pit or something there, just to balance out all this busyness that's going on here. I did some embellishing on this side of the layout as well. So I've got another little insert, and this is just me and my grandpa, very simple, with a little tag, because these photos are so small. And the other thing, when I got these photos from my mom, she had cut, I don't know if it was a thing in the 80s, but the photos were cut, like, you know, all the negative space was cut off the photos. So I got these photos teeny tiny. I didn't cut them like that. I just cut them straight. They were cut very skew, but I just cut them straight. So I think they took the photo, and then we were this big, but the photo was this big. So my mom just went and cut it. So I don't know. But this is the way I got it, and I made it work. I put it on a little tag, put some fussy cut flowers on there. This is at the back. It says grow where you are planted. So this is just a little embellished part to that photo. So this is one of my favorite layouts. I wanted to create something like a jar or a mason jar with flowers coming out of it and a little bird. And for this I really had this idea that I wanted to write something about the sparrow and how God looks after the birds and how you shouldn't worry that you won't, you know, God will look, if he looks after the birds and the flowers in the fields, obviously he will look after you. And this is just, if I could go back and talk to her and encourage this little girl, I would just read her this little bit. So lots of fussy cut flowers in here as well. I drew the mason jar. I used my Copic markers just to give it a little bit of a blue wash, and I chain stitched around it. I did the same with the bird. I drew the bird, used my Copic markers just to give it a little bit of a, you know, shadow, and then not chain stitched, I back stitched the bird. Let me show you closer. I back stitched the bird a little bit, and there's the chain stitched mason jar. So this is a very busy page, but there's lots in it, and I really like the way I was scrapping. And now this is like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and well, 3 years ago actually. I really like the way I was scrapping here. Everything's very busy, the whole page is full. There's some color balancing at the top, lots of stitching. I used my Copic markers, I did journaling. So I think my scrapping has evolved a lot, and I love going back and watching how I used to scrap in those days. So this is again another Studio KaiserCraft kit, and this is me on my first birthday, and I love the fact that the colors in the photo really match the colors of these flowers, and these are all fussy cut, and I used some of the embellishments from the embellishment pack. Framed my layout on a sort of dirty pink paper, and here you can't really make it out, but I stitched happy birthday, the word happy birthday. I wrote out sort of a very scripty happy birthday, and I stitched it, and then on the inside, because you couldn't really see what I was going for, on the inside I colored in with my Copic markers with a very light pink, sort of peachy color. This is again my first birthday, and I just used one of these sort of very embellished pages from the KaiserCraft collection. Sometimes they've got these pages where there's stuff on the one side, and then it sort of helps you to figure out a composition for your paper, for your layout. So what I did is I put these photos, the big photo at the bottom, and then me at the top, the little photo at the top. And for this page I wrote the Bible verse, Jeremiah 29 verse 11, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And this is sort of just on my first birthday, the plans that God has for me. He wants to give me a future and a hope. So yes, so this is very feminine layout. The next spread is something completely different. I used the Felicity-jane kit. So you can see the colors have changed completely. This is me on the beach, and this is where I started taking photos of the photos instead of using the original photos. So what I did is I took a photo of this and I edited it to go black and white because the photo was very discolored, and I used the Felicity-jane kit. I'm not sure, I can't remember what this kit is called. It was their autumn kit for that year, and I used all of their words, all of the positive words in there. Take the next step, discover, just the here and now, fun, just the beginning with the little plus sign, yes, say yes to new adventures, start, goal, start here, discover, explore, dear future self. This is like me running into the sea, running into new adventures, and this is how I sort of got this. This is how I sort of envisioned this layout to go. If I have to go back and encourage this little girl. So this is the other side of the spread, and here I took a piece of paper and I stamped out all of those sayings that I used on this page. So they goes like this. And I just, because there's in some of these pockets, it's got this weird long pocket on the side. And I didn't know how to use it other than use it like this. And I framed some of my photos because they were the wrong shape or the wrong size to fit in the pockets. Did lots of embellishing, used the hearts with the vellum, with the stitching, and used some more stamping, used some tabs behind that, some of the ephemera, again with the stamping, and then made sure all my photos are black and white so that it all fits together. And that is my album so far that I have for my baby album. I don't have a lot of photos of me as a baby, so these are the ones I have, and I really treasure them. And so yes, I will be sharing more of my albums that I have completed. I have quite a few that I've completed, so I hope you join me again soon, and I hope you give this video a like. And if you've not subscribed, please consider subscribing, and I will see you again soon. Bye.